We have a few more people coming in. Please mute your lines if you can. That would be awesome. Thank you. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for attending the BullsEye Happy Half Hour. That's a mouthful to say, Happy Half Hour. Today, the subject is the BullsEye Path to Partner Revenue. And before we get started, I'll introduce myself. My name is Gina Kennedy Toney. Worked in this industry for quite some time. I'm the VP of Marketing for BullsEye and delighted to be here with you today. The webinar is being recorded. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put those through the chat. If we don't get to your question today, we'll answer you individually after the call. You'll receive that recording of the webinar too, right shortly after the call. Like I said, it'll be a little while, but you'll receive that. Let's get started today with our special guest. It's Bobby Stutzman. Bobby is the CEO, the founder and the CEO of SharpLink. He's a favorite partner of ours. We can't say that you are the favorite, Bobby, because we would be, but we could say you're one of our favorite partners, and we are delighted to have you here today. And if you could just spend maybe, give a 30-second overview, and then I've got, as you know, a bunch of questions for you. So tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So as Gina said, my name is Bobby Stutzman, founder and CEO of SharpLink. We are headquartered here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I founded SharpLink back in 2013, where we just started reselling or selling fiber circuits. And we quickly realized that we needed to have a portfolio of technology solutions, not just one solution. And it took us some time to get our footing. Obviously, this industry is very hyper competitive. But doing our due diligence and actually speaking with the verticals in which we serve has served us very well, and we'll kind of get into that stuff. But I am happy to be here today, and just question away, Gina.
Awesome. I've got a whole bunch of them. So, when you started your business, you started with fiber, as a lot of folks have, and you started expanding your offering. Can you talk specifically about the vertical that you operate in, and then maybe a little bit about the expansion, the different products and services you offer, and then I'll follow up with another question, of course.
So before I started SharpLink back in 2013, I had spent about 23 years. I had a successful 23-year career in retail, running big box retail stores, large markets. And so a lot of what I've brought from that industry has helped me in this industry. In retail, you become a product of processes. You go through all this leadership training, but at the end of the day, you're a product of processes. So when you go into a big box retail store, from my experience, the best way to find out a true customer experience is actually interacting with the customers, not waiting at the end of the experience, expecting them to go from a receipt to a website, plug in some answers, on the experience. It's actually talking to them while they're there. So when we got into, telecom and I started SharpLink, the channel is so discombobulated. If you, are partnered with multiple master agents, you're getting 200 or 300 emails a week with different products and services. Hey, this is great for this. This is great for that. So, our biggest vertical probably to date is the fast food industry. And so we had gone through the steps and partnered with master agents and was contacting QSRs. And what we learned was we were pushing products that they really didn't need. And so when it comes to the experience at the fast food restaurant, we wanted to find out exactly what those pain points were, right? What services do you have? What would you like to have? And through these months, we went through about 7 months of reaching out to multi-location enterprise in fast food industry, QSR, retail, hospitality, healthcare. And at the end of the day, we found out there was a big disconnect between the decision makers at the corporate level versus the end users in the brick and mortar locations. So that was the first thing we found out. And then as we kept probing and asking more questions is where I came away with all that data was we needed to create a fully managed solution. You know, there was one fast food that's a franchisee that's currently a client of ours. They've got over 200 locations, and they were paying over 110 vendors for technology solutions across those locations.
Wow.
And so we learned they want one bill. They want everything managed. They want to call one person when something's not working, whatever solution that is. And because we all know, you know, running our own businesses, that when we have, just say, basic internet problems, you call up the provider, well, there is no problem with their network. Then you've got a voice problem, or you've got this problem. And at the end of the day, you know, 20 years ago, a lot of these corporations had big IT teams. That's not the case today. You know, we also found out that a lot of the IT directors, say in the fast food industry, have kind of moved into that position from another, say, marketing, or they were in part of the operations team. So their skill set isn't necessarily, you know, top notch. So you really have to become the trusted advisor. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to know and understand, you know, fixing bandwidth problem. What's that mean? You know, we know you've got X, well, we want this, and we got managed Wi-Fi, and we've only got 12 megs. It runs our voice system, POS system, it's everything. And so when we were reaching out and getting those, our questions answered, was when I developed the solution that we launched just June 21st, Retail Box, right? So it encompasses fixing the bandwidth problem. It includes hosted voice. It includes SD-WAN. It includes failover. You know, failover is one of the things that's been around for a while, yet over 92% of all the multi-location enterprise that we talked with over 7 months didn't have it. You know, they had no insight into their networks. And so we've developed Retail Box in conjunction with our direct partnership with BullsEye.
Well, and I know, you know, one of the things that I found really interesting is, you know, you shared a lot of times even these store managers,
Yes.
you know, as we would say in the South, bless their heart, right? They're
Yep.
trying to get things working when networks go down. And so really you bring that all in one solution. So, you know, you're not a huge, gigantic, you don't have 700 people working for you, right? So
Absolutely.
as a partner, it's probably really important to you to have support from the back end. And I, you know, I know I'm biased, but I think BullsEye really shines in our support, our customer care. And can you talk to me a little bit about, not just because BullsEye offered one bill and several solutions, can you talk to me a little bit about how we've supported you along the way?
Absolutely.
Walk me through that, because I think that's really important. And, you know, this call is about partner revenue. It's about bringing in revenue, but think of the revenue that you can bring in when you have a support system like you have at BullsEye. So Bobby, carry it away. I won't take.
We're a small, lean and mean team, you know, BullsEye, you know, and we'll get into, so the, you know, the process was, once I had all the data and decided Retail Box was what we needed to create, right? There's thousands of companies that are doing hosted voice.
Oh,
there
yeah.
are companies doing just SD-WAN. There's companies just doing different solutions, you know, but the model of, when it comes to hosted voice, one of the biggest things we heard was that the auto provisioning and shipping of the hardware to a location, and expecting an inexperienced part-timer or a manager of any kind with no experience to simply plug this stuff in and it's going to work, that model is broken. So we knew that these solutions needed to be physically installed by vetted technicians. And so there's great hosted voice products out there, but when it comes to the installation, the companies that have their own switch, that manage their solutions, there's very, very few, it's very small percentage that actually do the installation as well. So we had to have various pieces. So when I came, I made some calls and I said, hey, here's what I want to do. Who in the marketplace has the capability of doing it? And there was basically 3 companies on the list. And the first 2 companies were eliminated because they had just gotten rid of doing installations, which left me with BullsEye. So when I approached BullsEye a few years ago with this idea, you guys were getting into some of these solutions. You just brought on some solutions which made this, you know, a perfect fit. Now, when we started launching these locations, it was not perfect, right? We needed to ramp up the test and turn up team. We needed to ramp up the installation team. We need to ramp up various pieces. But at the end of the day, BullsEye has all the pieces today. So if we nail say a 400 location account, I have 100% confidence with the account managers that BullsEye provides. You know, this is the support, the account managers, the project managers, the ordering managers, the reporting tools and everything that comes with this. I know everything about my locations and I don't have to pick up a phone, right? Every week when we have different calls with, say we got a project coming up with a client where we've got another 60 locations to install, there's at least 4 to 5 dedicated resources from BullsEye on that call, which I don't have to employ, right? The beauty of this is that for the majority of what we want to do is just sell. We don't want to own the knock. We don't want to have to hire. We don't have to fire. We don't have to any of that. BullsEye takes care of all that. We go out and we make the connections, the contacts, introduce them to this solution. Our ad was just, you know, featured in QSR magazine, and it's done phenomenally well. But at the end of the day, I don't worry about the 24/7 support when a circuit goes down, right? We're not in charge of the circuits, but we notify the customer. I'm notified, my team's notified automatically when that circuit goes down, when it comes back up. And that's everything that BullsEye provides. And again, we can concentrate on selling. The support is 100% BullsEye.
Yeah, well said. And you know, as I listen to your story, it sounds like BullsEye has really helped you grow your business by listening to you where you needed more support and adding that additional support as you grow. So, you know, listening to what our partners want.
Absolutely.
You know, our sole purpose is to obviously have a mutually beneficial relationship, but to help partners grow their business, right? And
Right.
that's part of what, you know, I would say our value add is. Tell me a little bit about QSR magazine. Tell me a little bit about that. About, you know, you talked about the fast food industry. Maybe tell me a little bit about the magazine and how big of a deal is it? I always laugh and say, you know, being from the South or lived in the South for a decade, Southern Living is my manual, right? That's my magazine, right?
Sure.
And so talk a little bit about the restaurant magazine, what that means to the industry, and how big of a deal is it? A full page ad. This is something that you're relying wholly on BullsEye to really help you fulfill, right?
Absolutely.
The business is, you know, we're building it and they're coming, right? So I think you're building it. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, you know, QSR magazine is like the holy grail for the fast food industry. They have every, you know, which properties are changing hands. It was just announced last week, Thursday, I think it was, that Panera Bread is forming this new Panera Brands entity with, I believe it was Einstein Brothers and Caribou Coffee. And so I get a ton of my news flashes from QSR magazine. They've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, And so when it comes to the QSR industry itself, if it's not, if the latest and greatest news isn't released by them, then most people don't hear about it because everybody gets their news from them.
Right.
And so when we had the opportunity of being featured, it was exciting. Everybody from QSR Magazine, the publishers and the editors, and the tech gurus on their end was very excited about what we've created with Retail Box. And the simplicity, it sounds very simple to provide basically what everything they need. But as you know, behind the scenes, there is a ton of people from BullsEye that are making that happen. I didn't want to come to the market without having a ransomware check, as part of the package.
You have to. Yeah.
Months ago, I got with Vilas, your CTO, and said, hey, I want to add this pillar of business to this package. What can we do? And he got me in contact with your security guys, and we've been on calls, and we've come up with that, to be able to see how companies are with ransomware. And again, if BullsEye wasn't so open-minded, nothing's ever been a no. I can contact Vilas or Clayton, the testing guy, and say, hey, I'm thinking about X. What have you guys done in the past with this specific solution? Hey, we've tested these 3 or 4 companies. The testing that BullsEye has put into a lot of these solutions is, countless hours. And so when I call up Vilas and I say, hey, I want to do, some access point, for somebody's curbside pickup solution, that we're working on. And he's like, hey, we've tested, A, B, C, D companies, and these work the best, and then we'll spin up a test, right? So we're doing various tests with different technologies, from data center to edge devices. And we have that time and resource because we're not spending all this other money on the resources that BullsEye provides on what we're doing with Retail Box. So, it's a no-brainer for us. It's a state-of-the-art partnership. And, sometimes I personally get too aggressive saying, hey, we need to get this faster, sooner.
No.
At the end of the day, I have 100% confidence that when something comes out of a test with BullsEye, everything's been tested, everything's been thrown at it, and I know I can go to market with X product. So, and we get that information from the customers. I no longer depend on channel managers from a master agent. I no longer depend on emails sent from a cloud provider. I talk directly with the customers, which is what we did in retail, which is what is benefiting us 100%. Because we could try to sell a CTO on a solution they don't need all day long. But if you don't know what they need, you're simply wasting everybody's time.
Well, and I think too, there's a direct correlation there. At BullsEye, how many companies, and there's a lot of folks, like you said, that do some of the things that we do. And how often are you able just to pick up the phone and talk to the CTO? Hey, I was talking to my customer. He said it would be really helpful if we had X, Y, and Z, and go back and brainstorm. And I think that's a key differentiator also, is that, we have what we call empathy sessions with our partners. So we sit down with our partners and we say, what do you need? Is there anything that we're not currently providing? What are your ideas? What does your roadmap look like for your business? What are your plans, and how can we help and build that together? So I think that's something that you just don't see very often, Bobby. And I know that's some of the things that our folks love is getting in there, and I call it getting in the ditch. I'm sure there's a more eloquent way to say that, but just getting down in there and getting dirty and working with our partners. From a sales side, I know you have great support too, and then I'd like you to touch a little bit about your relationship with Tom Tisco, our CEO. I mean, you have a direct relationship with Tom, right? So talk a little bit about that and how we've supported you from a sales effort also.
Yeah, so from a relation standpoint with Tom, I flew out a few years ago and kind of met everybody at your corporate office. And Tom Tisco was not yet the CEO. He took over, I think it was just 3 or 4 months later, from when we first met. But just the open dialogue, giving me his cell phone number, anything we can help you out with. If we drop the ball, let me know, and we'll address it, immediately. And so, a few weeks back, when we were, divulging the launch of Retail Box, he called me up and, was excited about what we've developed, obviously with your guys' team, excited about what we're going to contribute to the market. And, he didn't have to do that. He could have just shot me an email, but he called me up, and I thought that was pretty cool. And, if, in the past there was, some opportunities where, I've sent him emails, hey, we got an opportunity here, and do you need more resources instead of over here? We need to bring it over here. And I'm not the only one, right? I mean, you guys are supporting other partners,
Right.
but as quickly as things have been addressed, resources properly allocated, I don't know of another company that I have the relationship that I've got with executives, with the sales teams. I just got an email from one of your guys' sales managers yesterday, wanting to follow up, wanting to see the feedback on Retail Box. And you just don't get that everywhere. And with other companies in the past, you try to reach out to an executive, they just refer you back to the channel manager.
Yeah.
And that's where your requests are given. That's where the conversation takes place, and you just pray and hope that they go up the chain. Most of the times they don't.
Right.
But here, where it's at in process, right? It's going to be, 2 weeks before it's, say a test starts. It's going to be 60 days while we really thoroughly test this. And, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing because, we call it a lean launch process because we don't want our customers, right, to kind of be the guinea pig, right? We want to make sure stuff works for our partners and our customers. And I think that's something that's really unique also. And the other thing, I'll put in a shameless marketing plug. I'll just throw it out there. Just like we take care of Bobby and other partners, we take care of our customers. We have a 99% customer retention rate. So, there's always, I call it water cooler talk, rumor, this company does this, and this company does this, and this can, but we publish that 99% of our customers stay with us. And so there's a reason for that. It's great partners like Bobby. It's great customer care, client care, all the way from, the CEO to, through billing, all the way through the organization, even through marketing. But, that support this business. And I really want partners to take away that we're your back office. We'll support you. That's what we do, right? And to make it easy for you to bring in that revenue and to grow the business. So, Bobby, do you have any closing comments? I'm putting you on the spot, but anything you would like to add or?
Well, I think obviously what we've accomplished together so far has been pretty phenomenal. Considering how many brands and solutions and everything that's out there. But I really truly think it's just the beginning. Putting it all together, bringing it all together, listening to the customer, and now we've got a roadmap, right? Retail Box is a roadmap of what multi-location enterprise wants. We've got it. There's they're ordering it, and now it's just where's other value, right? And that's what we're putting together now, is where is additional value to the customer, not value from a revenue standpoint, but value for the customer. Doesn't make sense. We could have other stuff in Retail Box that would make us additional revenue, but customer may not need it, may not want it. And so we've kind of put together basically phase one of what I think Retail Box is going to be, today versus, we're going to keep continuously, it's going to keep evolving.
Right.
We got 5, 6, We do site surveys, you guys do the installation, and everything is a roadmap. The customer knows when stuff's getting installed, when a tech's coming. They have credentials here, here's my credentials. So, everything of what Retail Box is today, I think it's really just a first phase of what it's going to become in the not too distant future.
Agreed 100%. Is there any questions, Jackie or Ashley? Do we have any questions that have come in?
I don't see any additional questions currently.
All right, awesome. Well, Bobby, I guess you said it all, right? I guess you and I got it covered. We didn't have any questions, but honestly, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat right now. We're happy to reach out to you one-on-one. Bobby, congratulations on Retail Box, another part of your business. Very, very excited for you. Thank you for spending the time, and to the folks that came onto the webinar, we appreciate the time together. We'll have another webinar next month. Topic is super secret. No, I'm kidding. We just haven't done it yet. So we'll have a really cool topic, but none as cool as this one. Bobby, thanks so much for spending the time with us.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you and your team. You guys have been great to work with. And again, we're just getting started.
Just getting started. That's awesome. Famous last words. Just getting started. All right. We'll talk to everyone later. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll catch you next time.